Irma has 70-mile-an-hour winds, so we've already seen some pretty rapid intensification as it spins more than 2,500 miles away from us. But the reason we're concerned is that historically storms that get near the Caribbean or the Bahamas this time of the year have affected the U.S. Long way out. Irma moving west at 12 miles an hour and blowing up by late Monday into early Tuesday morning into a major Category 3 hurricane with 120-mile-an-hour winds. At that point, it's just to the east of the Lesser Antilles. Where it goes after that, the models are split, so it's something that we're watching very carefully, and we will keep you apprised throughout the weekend. Meanwhile, for you today, what you need to know is it's going to be absolutely scorchingly hot and humid. 92 will feel like 105 to 109. There's only an isolated shot of a shower or storm. We're resting in the lower to mid 80s even right now. So a good deal of sunshine and a scorcher. Stephanie.
Sandra, thank you. Time for a First Alert traffic update. We're going to go towards the Treasure Coast right now, where things are looking really good for your Thursday morning commute. Right now, no delays on the major roadways, State Road 60, the Turnpike, and I-95, all in the clear from Indian River County further south into St. Lucie and Martin counties. Again, no reports of any issues. You're good to go. A live check for you from our First Alert traffic camera. Here we are at I-95 near 45th Street. Volume starting to pick up out there now that we're in the 6 o'clock hour. And Aaron and Mark, just a reminder to all the drivers in Boynton Beach, those red light cameras, they return tomorrow.
Good morning. Stephanie, thank you.
And we want to go to some breaking news. Officials say a pair of explosions were heard early this morning and black smoke was seen rising from a chemical plant. This is near Houston that was compromised by the flooding from Hurricane Harvey. And we do have some pictures. These are live pictures, really as close as this reporter, this ABC News reporter, is allowed to go because they have evacuated that area.
All right, so at this point, we know police have been saying in Harris County there that one deputy so far has been taken to the hospital this morning due to inhaling the fumes from that explosion at the chemical plant. Stephanie's staying on top of this story. She's going to have much more of what's breaking in just a couple minutes. But this just happened this morning. They warned us, and here we did have this explosion.
And luckily, they were able to evacuate everyone. But I think we were saying the community leader said it wasn't a matter of if, it was when, and it happened this morning. So Steph's going to get some more information and give us an update here in a bit.
Also happening now, the U.S. military is sending warships loaded with disaster relief supplies to Texas, all to help with the rescue effort.
This as Vice President Mike Pence heads to the Lone Star State to meet with victims and assess the damage in Corpus Christi.
To Texas and Louisiana, we say, we are with you today, we are with you tomorrow, and we will be with you every single day to restore, recover, and rebuild.
Vice President Pence speaking in West Virginia last night. He said the president is checking in frequently with Texas Governor. This morning, floodwaters appear to be receding around the hardest hit areas of Houston. However, thousands remain in shelters, and the confirmed death toll has climbed to at least 31 at last count this morning. The main pipeline carrying fuel from Texas to the East Coast has temporarily shut down because of refinery outages related to Harvey. This is another thing we've been talking about. We knew was going to eventually happen.
You're going to see it at the pumps, too. Colonial Pipeline is the biggest fuel transporter in the country, transporting more than 3 million barrels every single day, all the way from Houston up to New York. There's the pipeline there. This shutdown immediately sent gas prices to now a 2-year high.
If you have a second to look at your television screen right now, this is just giving you an idea of how powerful this storm was. This is a split screen. So on your left is the Interstate 10. This is in Beaumont, Texas, what it looked like before, and then on the right, what it looks like right now. And that image on the right was a viral image that was all over social media yesterday. This is an interstate here, and we're looking at white caps on this roadway. I mean, it's just hard to fathom, but you're seeing more of these before and after. And more of these. These are time-lapse videos showing devastating flooding in the Houston area. Watch the cars. Harvey dumping more than 51 inches of rain on some parts of the state. Wow. This morning, people in Texas, as you can see from all these images, they still need help, and they're going to need help for weeks, months, even years to come.
Long time to come. Every single dollar, keep in mind, donated to the recovery effort counts. And tonight, you can help as well by having a little bit of fun. Go to a baseball game.
You can't beat that.
All right, so Farron Celicia is live for us this morning. She's at the ballpark of the Palm Beaches to explain what this whole event is all about. Farron.
Yeah, absolutely. The response here at the ballpark of the Palm Beaches has been overwhelming, so much so First Data Field getting in on some of the action. Today at noon, look at this big trailer of donations closing its doors. They have so many items right now, but don't fret because you can still give donated items and actually go out and watch a game. Go see the St. Lucie Mets play today and know that you're doing it for a good cause. The Mets also announced that $1 from every ticket that they sell at the box office today will go to Hurricane Harvey relief efforts. And on top of that, the team is signing a bat that they'll raffle off for just $5. They'll give that away during the 7th inning. If you can't make it out to the game tonight, this particular trailer may be closing its doors, but they're bringing a second one in today at noon. And take a look right there, diapers and baby food. Those are just some of the items that we'll need. Our wonderful morning anchor Mark Kelly helped us out. He gave us a demo. You know, parents, you can never have too many diapers. We got some wipes. These are the kinds of things they'll need, but also food, non-perishable items for humans and things for the pets, because we know a lot of pets are also affected by this, and water as well. These are the types of items that they need. And in the middle of destruction, disaster, that's when we see, as Americans, whether you're in Texas or across the country, we pull together, we unite. And so they actually have quite a bit of clothes. I'm going to tell you about some items that they say they don't need anymore. They actually have enough of some items, but I'll get into more of those details for you in 30 more minutes. Live right now, West Palm Beach, Farron Silly, WPBF 25.
Farron, I'm going to need that diaper back.
The hot commodity. All right, well, South Florida continues, as we've been saying, to help all of these victims. And last night it was in Jupiter where people really were helping out.
And boy, did they come out. Harborside Place, they hosted the fundraiser. All the proceeds going to the Salvation Army in Houston.
It's been great. People have been so generous and so loving. People are just looking to help in any way.
Now, Harborside, they went above and beyond and matched every donation dollar for dollar. In all, they raised about $8,000. Wow. That's going to go a long way.
Great.
All right, once again, WPBF 25 News. We are teaming up with the American Red Cross to take your donation so you can still help out. Volunteers will be taking your calls today. We're doing another phone bank today from 4 this afternoon until 6:30 this evening. The phone number right there on your screen, jot it down for later on today, 561-514-7505. We had a fantastic phone bank the last couple days. We're going to do it again.
Everybody stepped up to the plate.
Also today, stepping up, ABC is hosting a Day of Giving event. That's what they're calling it, all to benefit those affected by Harvey.
And you can start donating right now. As part of the effort, you can help provide meals and shelter to those in need by donating to the American Red Cross at redcross.org/ABC or calling the number on your screen. You're going to see this all day long, 855-999-GIVE. You can make a contribution right now. It's going to help the people as they're trying to figure out what to do next in the midst of all this devastation. Coming up next, the family of a woman killed in the deputy-involved shooting here at home now asking the sheriff's office to turn over the case. We're live with more on the investigation and why the family says the sheriff has a conflict of interest.
Plus, a new frontier in the fight against cancer. The FDA has approved the first gene therapy to treat leukemia. We'll explain how it works coming up.
And the tropics blowing up. We'll find out where the remnants of Harvey are now, plus Irma. And are we going to be contending with Jose, possibly in the Gulf next week? So much going on and so much to get to. So stay tuned. I've got it for you after the break. Good morning, everybody. Time to track the tropics. Irma, all eyes on this one with 70-mile-an-hour winds just below hurricane status. So we expect a hurricane today moving westward throughout the open tropical Atlantic. Major hurricane on the doorstep of the Caribbean by early next week. After that, stay tuned. We're on a long ride. Meanwhile, we've got more activity in the tropics, except my maps are not advancing. So we will have to get that to you in a minute. Stay tuned for that.
Sandra, thank you. 6:12 on your Thursday. Next on the president's agenda, talking tax reform.
That's right. President Trump begins his fall push to overhaul the country's tax system. What the president is proposing. We got that coming up.
Plus, 2 explosions have been reported at a Texas chemical plant flooded by Harvey. 1 deputy has been hospitalized. Now, many other law enforcement officers are reporting feeling headaches and dizziness. I've got all the breaking details coming your way next. You're watching WPBF 25 News Morning. Stay with us.
Welcome back. I want to get to a big headline right here at home. This morning, the family of a woman shot and killed by an Indian River County deputy is asking the sheriff's office to now turn that case over.
It's a big request. Alex Browning joining us live this morning with why they want this investigation turned over to the state, to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Alex.
All right, Exactly, Mark. Aaron, earlier this month, the family shared concerns about a possible conflict of interest. And now in this letter, after they didn't get a response from the sheriff's office, they're asking FDLE to take over this investigation. Now, last month, Deputy Jonathan Lasada shot and killed Susan Teal inside the family's Vero Beach home. Earlier that night, her family called 911. Teal's husband found her trying to cut her wrists. Now, during a press conference shortly after that deputy-involved shooting, the sheriff said Teal lunged at his deputy with a knife. Lasada had no choice but to fire. And in those comments and the sheriff's public backing of his deputy's actions, Teal's attorney says it prevents the department's investigation from being impartial. Now, our previous requests for comment on the family's concerns have been denied. Meanwhile, Lasada is on paid administrative leave. We're live in Vero Beach. Alex Browning, WPBF 25 News.
Alex, thank you. Now to that breaking news out of Texas, where 2 explosions have been reported at a flooded chemical plant. It all happened in the town of Crosby, which is northeast of Houston. 2 explosions were heard and black smoke could be seen rising from the Arkema chemical plant. Now, a deputy was hospitalized after inhaling some fumes. So far, 9 other deputies have also complained of headaches and dizziness following the explosions. They are undergoing a medical evaluation as a precaution. Thankfully, officials had already ordered people living near the chemical plant to evacuate within a 1.5-mile radius, but there are still possibilities that there could be more explosions at this chemical plant. And Mark, you're following more breaking news for us this morning.
This is international news, Stephanie. Thank you. The U.S. and South Korea, they have now staged a joint show of force right over the Korean peninsula just 2 days after North Korea fired that missile right over Japan.
Tensions remain high. 2 U.S. bombers, 4 South Korean fighter jets, and 4 U.S. fighter jets took part in this joint exercise. A South Korean military official says the exercise was designed to strongly counter North Korea's repeated ballistic missile tests and development of nuclear weapons. Just yesterday, the U.S. shot down a ballistic missile in a test from a warship at sea. Back here at home, President Donald Trump traveled to Missouri Wednesday to begin his fall push to overhaul the nation's tax system.
So the White House and Republican lawmakers, they haven't yet finalized the details of the plan, but the president told employees at a manufacturing plant in Springfield, Missouri, that he wants to reduce the tax burden for middle-class Americans. He's also seeking to follow through on that campaign promise he made about tax reform and then secure his first big legislative victory after that health care defeat a few months back. But keep in mind, he is facing an uphill fight on this proposal that's expected to heavily benefit corporate America.
If we want to renew our prosperity and to restore opportunity, then we must reduce the tax burden on our companies and on our workers.
If it provides huge tax cuts for the wealthy and the powerful while leaving crumbs for the middle class, the American people are going to rise up against it.
President Trump is scheduled to meet with congressional leaders on Wednesday to begin discussing this and, of course, the rest of his fall agenda. And this morning, people in Great Britain, they are paying tribute to the late Princess Diana.
Today marks 20 years since she died in that car crash. On the eve of the anniversary, her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, they paid tribute to their mother. They visited the garden created in her memory at London's Kensington Palace. William's wife Kate joined them and recognized Diana's work with several charities. Diana was just 36 years old when she died in a car crash while traveling in Paris. Prince William and Prince Harry are expected to mark the anniversary privately later on today. Mark?
New this morning in your health news, the FDA has approved the first gene therapy to treat leukemia patients. The move opens up now a new era in cancer care. Now, the treatment genetically engineers a patient's own blood cells to seek and then destroy childhood leukemia.
Most of these patients remain in remission years later. And so that makes us think maybe that's actually a potential cure for some of our kids, and that's very exciting to us.
I certainly hope so. The therapy is for children and young adults. It costs $500,000 though. But the drug maker says it is trying to find ways to make sure that patients who need it can afford to get it. 6:20 this morning. Let's go to Sandra.
All right, and let's take a look at what's left of Harvey. It's plaguing the Mid-South this morning as a tropical depression, but it is out of here. According to the NWS Houston, it is finally moving away from southeast Texas. So good news on that point, but bad news because there could be another developing low pressure with tropical characteristics over the 5-day period in the Western Gulf. Let's just hope that it does not happen. Meanwhile, for us, dry air, and it's nice in South Florida, albeit really, really steamy, and we're going to hit the low 90s this afternoon. It's 83. We're well on our way in Stewart, 83 in West Palm, 79 in Boca. We're in the upper 70s on the Treasure Coast as well. Partly cloudy skies through much of the day, and then the isolated shower or storm is in the mix later on this afternoon. So you'll want to take the umbrella, but really it's just about that combination, sort of an insidious combination of heat and humidity that prevents your skin from really cooling off as quickly. So it will feel like 105 plus this afternoon. Want to get a little more breeze generation on the waters, no problems, 2-foot seas and just a light chop if you're going boating today. As far as beach going, you want to cool down in the water for sure. Still resting at 83 for the water temperature. Surf is only 1 to 2 feet though, so you're in luck there. Low tide 10-11 this morning. Here is South Florida's most accurate 7-day forecast, and going forward through a nice long holiday weekend, things looking stellar with hot highs and plenty of sun in the lower 90s. Again, it'll feel like the triple digits each day, and we're not going to cool down that much overnight either with the lows in the 80s. Next week, we're going to be tracking Irma as it approaches the Caribbean, so stay tuned for that.
All right, Sandra, thank you. Time for a First Alert traffic update and overall a really good Thursday morning commute. Smooth sailing right now as you take a look at our maps in northern Palm Beach County, the Beeline, the Turnpike, Military Trail 95, all running in the green. Heading further south, the boulevards all look good east and westbound. And if you're heading further south into, say, Delray, Boca, and on into Broward County, nothing to slow you down there either. As we go outside for a live check on our area roadways, here we are at I-95 and 10th Avenue. Volume has definitely picked up about 20 minutes into the 6 o'clock hour. Just a reminder for folks living in the Boynton Beach area, guess what returns tomorrow? Red light cameras. Don't run any red lights. We'll have more on that, of course, tomorrow morning, but just want to remind you now. Mark.
Good advice.
Yeah, thanks for the heads up, Stephanie. Well, Ford's F-150 keeps the top spot as America's best-selling vehicle.
That's all according to Kelley Blue Books. It's a list of the most popular cars sold in each state. Ford's F-Series remains the most popular overall, but it's not the case everywhere. More than 10 states chose SUVs over pickups. Meanwhile, in Florida, the Toyota Corolla is the most popular. One of the most popular theme parks in the country could be undergoing a bit of a name change.
Yeah, what do you think about these different options? So Disney reportedly wants to rebrand Hollywood Studios, and among some of the options that are rumored to be considered, Kaleidoscope Park. How does that one sound?
Okay.
Legends Park, that's another one possibly on the table. Well, the park went through a name change just a few years ago. Back in 2008, it used to be Disney MGM Studios. Remember that? Well, Hollywood Studios is the 5th most visited theme park in the entire country, and I guess they want a little rebranding.
I want to know why.
I don't know. It's a good question. 6:23 right now, remembering a legendary basketball coach.
Raleigh Massimino passed away at his Palm Beach County home. Hear from his top assistants during his coaching years at Kaiser University. You're going to hear as they remember him coming up.
I'm at the ballpark of the Palm Beaches, where this trailer is loaded with donations to give relief for Hurricane Harvey victims. I'll tell you what more they still need, and also how you can go check out the St. Lucie Mets later today and know you're doing that for a good cause. You're watching WPBF 25 News Mornings. We'll be right back.
Bahamas Crossing forecast is sponsored by Jetson. Expert advice plus the best price.
Good morning, everybody. Going to be a good weekend to head on over to the Bahamas. Perhaps you have Monday off. If so, you're in luck because the islands are going to be looking great. It's going to be hot over there, but no problems over the crossing with light seas expected over the next few days. Here's a look at GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, J.J. Watt, star defender for the Houston Texans, is taking to social media to raise money for Hurricane Harvey relief efforts.
It's very tough to watch your city get hit by such a bad storm and not be there to help.
Starting with his own $100,000 donation on Sunday, Watt challenged his followers to match it and raised over $500,000 in less than a day. And after tackling that goal, he raised the bar even higher.
And I've upped the goal to $1.5 million now.
And higher.
$2 million.
Now, after raising nearly $9 million, the NFL star is setting his biggest goal yet.
Everything's bigger in Texas, so I'm raising the goal to $10 million.
Money is pouring in from over 85,000 individual donors. And coming up at 7 a.m., join us for GMA's Day of Giving, celebrating the heroes of Houston and raising much-needed money for the Red Cross. With your GMA First Look, I'm TJ Holmes, ABC News, New York.
It's a highly contagious disease that can be really serious, especially for my precious new grandchild. It's whooping cough. Every family member, including those around new babies, should talk to their doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated.
Who knew that my period or sex, even soap, could throw off my pH balance?
Only Vagisil pH Balance Wash has lacto prebiotic. Use it every day to help support a healthy feminine pH. Get more from your wash. Get better intimate health. Vagisil.
Right now at Kohl's Labor Day weekend sale, boys' active tees are only $8. Take 20 to 40% off sneakers for the family, and kitchen electrics are just $19.99. Plus, take an extra $10 off when you spend $25 or more. And everyone gets Kohl's cash too. Kohl's.
Introducing new Kleenex Go Anywhere pack with America's softest ultra tissue.
Johnson, get in there.
Because you can go anywhere. Kleenex. Take care, take it on.
Breaking news as you wake up on this Thursday. This out of Harris, Texas, just outside of Houston, where 2 explosions have been reported at the flooded chemical plant. These are live pictures right now. We don't know the extent of the damage, but we do know 1 deputy was taken to the hospital after inhaling fumes. Floodwaters knocked out power, and the generators needed to help volatile chemicals cool down. The CEO says there is no way to prevent the explosions, and it's a matter of when, if not, not if, but when this is going to actually happen. Residents have evacuated. Again, those explosions have happened in Texas.
To those Americans who have lost loved ones, all of America is grieving with you, and our hearts are joined with yours forever.
Well, the unrelenting storm that unleashed wrath on Texas is now Tropical Depression Harvey, finally moving beyond the Houston area. The scope of devastation, though, now just starting to become clearer. Even shelters are flooding this morning as the storm pushes on into Louisiana. It is hard to think the situation could get any worse there, but that is exactly what we are seeing this morning. We want to say good morning to you. It is 6:30. I'm Mark Kelly.
And I'm Erin Guy. Thanks for waking up with us on this Thursday, August 31st. As the death toll continues to rise, so do those flood waters. Here's what we know right now. The death toll is at more than 30 this morning. 32,000 people are in shelters across Texas. 30 to 40,000 homes have been destroyed by floodwaters in and around Houston. 20 trillion gallons of rain has fallen on the Houston area since the storm made landfall on Friday.
And while Texas is dealing with devastation, we're also keeping a close eye on Tropical Storm Irma. Sandra, tell us what's the very latest right now with Irma.
Irma will likely become a hurricane today. It's more than 2,500 miles away from the Palm Beaches, so not an immediate threat. But maybe into next week, we'll see what happens, because Irma will intensify dramatically into a major hurricane by late Sunday, and then Tuesday is packing 120-mile-an-hour winds on the doorstep of the Caribbean. Where it heads after that is a sort of split right now. The models cannot come into a good consensus that far out, but we're talking late next week, perhaps, at least historically, a U.S. factor or maybe a South Florida factor, but perhaps out to sea or further south. Either way, a lot of land to get to and a long way to go, so we're going to be on it every step of the way for you. Meanwhile, for us today, 92 degrees, a slight chance of an isolated shower or storm, good deal of sunshine, heat indices in excess of 105 degrees. So really a scorcher. Take it easy. Steph?
All right, Sandra, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Time for a First Alert traffic update. We'll head out west towards Lake Okeechobee right now, where roadways are looking good. No problems to report along Okeechobee Road, up or out west towards Basseter, or up north towards Fort Drum. Hitting the Beeline Highway, everything up to speed there. Take a look at your drive times. Currently, a 21-minute commute eastbound along the Beeline, 44 minutes westbound from the Blue Heron Boulevard area to the Martin Highway exit. Live look for you from our First Alert traffic camera. Here we are at I-95 near the North Lake Boulevard exit, and you can see traffic has certainly picked up out there, but everybody's moving right along. If there are any delays or accidents reported, of course, I'll pass that along to you, but for now, you're good to go from Vero Beach to Boca Raton. Mark?
That's what we like to hear. Stephanie, thank you. Well, dangerous rescue operations continue in flood-ravaged Houston and also the surrounding cities, of course, all in the wake of Harvey. Today, in fact, Vice President Mike Pence, he's going to head to Texas. He's going there to meet with the victims and also take a look, assess the damage that happened in Corpus Christi.
And this as floodwaters bring more desperation to the Texas area and near the Louisiana border. In Port Arthur, for example, look at this, nursing home underwater. More than 70 elderly patients stranded and soaked for 24 hours until help finally arrived.
Just break my heart.
Nearby in Beaumont, terrifying rescues by boat, and hard-hit Houston still buried, as you can see, under all of that water.
Oh, floodwaters have now toppled 2 oil storage tanks right in South Texas. Almost 30,000 gallons of crude spilled in DeWitt County yesterday. That's just about 150 miles west of Houston. Now, more damage to oil industry infrastructure is expected to emerge in the coming days as the floodwaters start to go down.
South Florida continues to step up to help the victims of this horrific storm.
You certainly do. And tonight you can help too by having a little bit of fun as well at a baseball game. Farron Salee is live for us this morning. She's at the ballpark of the Palm Beaches. Farron, tell folks how they could get involved with this.
Yeah, the minor league baseball teams and ballparks are really stepping up to the plate, so to speak. Look at this. This big trailer here is already loaded up with donations that are going to go for Hurricane Harvey relief. They've been collecting these for days, but the cool new thing that's happening is tonight you can actually go watch the St. Lucie Mets play, and they are collecting donations at the gate of tonight's game. Now, the Mets are going to be playing over at First Data Field if you want to head out to check them out. Again, those donations will go for Hurricane Harvey relief. They're also giving over some of their proceeds, so if you attend tonight, know that $1 for every ticket purchased at the box office also will go to help the victims of the storm. And on top of all that, they're going to raffle off a team-signed bat, so you'll get all those autographs, and the raffle is just $5. A lot of fun to look forward to. If you don't make it to the game, I know this trailer may be full, but they're going to bring in a second one today at noon. These are some of the items they still need. Non-perishable foods. They need water bottles. This is big. They need water bottles. There's even a specific, I think, sign for it. There it is. Bottled water. That's what they really need. And they also say, don't forget the pets. They need pet food as well. They've had so many donations. They actually say they do not need more used clothes. So thank you for those, but they've got an overwhelming amount of those. And it really goes to show how much the community is pouring out help, pouring out their hearts for the people in Southeast Texas and for Louisiana. We'll stay on top of more ways that you can keep giving as well, and also have fun while you're giving back. Live in West Palm Beach, Farron Salee, WPBF 25 News.
Great advice, Farron. Thank you. And once again today, WPBF 25 News is teaming up with the American Red Cross to take your donations. We're opening our phone bank this afternoon from 4 until 6:30. Mark, you're over in the Digital Center with another major fundraiser. It's underway right now online. People can actually start donating right now at 6:30 this morning.
I love that we have all these going on right now. So today, ABC is hosting what they're calling a Day of Giving event to benefit those affected by Harvey. Here's a peek at the website right now. The thing just kicked off, in fact, just about 30 minutes ago, and it is going to be on Good Morning America as well. They're going to talk about it there. But here is a live look. Let's take a peek inside their studios where you can see crews getting ready for this massive network fundraising event right there at the GMA studios. They're teaming up with the Red Cross. And here's a peek at the website. It is already up and running for you to make a donation. And there are 2 ways that you can donate this morning. You can head to redcross.org/ABC, or you can go and call 855-999-GIVE. Now let's take a look at the website real quick. You could give all different amounts, 50,000 bucks, or you could enter your own amount right there. You could also give the frequency, how often you want to give some donations, so you could do more than once if you'd like. And then they have a bunch of different options for payment, everything from PayPal to a bunch of different major credit cards. So you got a lot of different ways to give. We got a lot of people asking on our Facebook pages, how can I help out? Here's one solution for you. The website phone number taking donations, Aaron, right now.
Sounds good, Mark. Thank you. And here in South Florida, we know that the recovery effort takes several weeks, months, even years. So a lot of people stepping up to help out. Thanks, Mark. Meanwhile, the college basketball world is mourning a legendary coach this morning. We're talking about Rollie Massimino. The 82-year-old died at his home in Palm Beach County after a long battle with cancer. He coached at Kaiser University for the last 11 seasons, but he's really best known for leading the Villanova Wildcats to one of the biggest upsets in college basketball history back in 1985.
I've never met a person who is so motivated and so loving to so many people.
Massimino won more than 800 games in his career, and he will definitely be missed in the college basketball world.
A legend. All right, 6:38 this morning, 911 dispatchers. Of course, they get all kinds of difficult, chaotic situations. It is a tough job, and they always have to keep their cool.
Cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah.
That's the game. But one dispatcher in Florida did quite more than that. Yes, she did. She walked a couple through birthing a child. Wow. How she was able to help deliver that sweet baby. We've got that story for you coming up.
And it's taking the focus off of Harvey, but there is another big storm brewing in the tropical Atlantic, Irma. Most models indicating a major hurricane by next week. So where is she headed? Plus, the other invests that are out there as well as we're entering the busiest part of the season. I've got the scoop after the break. Good morning to everybody. We are tracking Tropical Storm Irma, likely to become Hurricane Irma later today as it moves to the west through the open tropical Atlantic. And by early next week, we're talking Tuesday, is somewhere near the Caribbean. Some models take it toward the Bahamas, maybe affecting the U.S. eastern seaboard. Others sweep it out to sea. It's just too early to call as it's still 2,500 miles away from us. But we're also tracking the remnants of Harvey. It's a depression now as it moves up through the mid-south, still producing some heavy rains and flash flooding there. And this is insult to injury for sure, as another wave of low pressure at least has a slight chance of developing in the western Gulf of Mexico, something we'll be watching into later next week as well.
Sandra, you'll be keeping an eye on it. Thank you. 6:42 right now. The family of a Vero Beach woman who was shot and killed by a deputy. That family is now calling for an independent investigation.
Our big local story this morning, why they're asking for the case to be turned over to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Details coming up. Steph.
In international news, a building collapse kills nearly a dozen people. It has many other traps right now. I've got all the latest images to share with you out of Mumbai this morning. You're watching WPBF 25 News Mornings. We'll be right back after this quick break.
We continue to stay on top of breaking news that's happening right now in Harris County, Texas. That's just outside of the Houston area. 2 explosions have just been reported this morning. This is at a flooded chemical plant there. Now, at this point, this has just happened, so we don't know the extent of the damage. But one thing we do know, one deputy at this point has been taken to the hospital from inhaling fumes from that chemical plant explosion. Also, residents in that area have so far been evacuated. They had to evacuate a 1.5-mile radius, so we're going to keep an eye on this. We'll bring you an update as soon as we get one.
Luckily, they were able to evacuate yesterday in preparation because they knew it was going to happen. So this happening, breaking news from overnight. The family of a woman shot and killed by an Indian River County deputy here at home. They have some new demands this morning.
They certainly do. Alex Browning, he's live for us outside the sheriff's office. Alex, you have that letter that the family wrote and they sent off to the sheriff.
Yeah, it's right here, Mark. Aaron, now earlier in the month, the family shared concerns about a possible conflict of interest with the sheriff handling this investigation. And after they didn't get a response from the sheriff here, they sent this letter officially requesting them to hand over the investigation to FDLE. Now, last month, Deputy Jonathan Lozado shot and killed Susan Teal in the family's Vero Beach home after the sheriff said she lunged at Lozado with a knife. Now, earlier that night, her family had called 911 after Teal's husband found her trying to cut herself. Now, during a press conference shortly after the shooting, the sheriff supported his deputy's decision, saying he had no choice